Hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar on SR Specialists and Referrals through Best Practice Software for Central and Eastern Sydney PHN. So my name is Yvonne Chong Costa. I'm actually the Digital Health and Quality Improvement Manager here at Central and Eastern Sydney. And joining me today is my colleague Alex Dolezal, who's the team lead for Digital Health and QI, who will be moderating this session and will be answering your questions at the end. Just on the screen is details for the digital health team, which can assist you with all aspects of e-referrals, including HealthLink SmartForms. There's our email address there, or contact the 1300 number. So welcoming you to this actual session is SR Specialists and Referrals presenters. Today we've got Nicole Matthews and Carmel Cervin. Both Carmel as well as Nicole actually work in New Zealand, so they're actually dialing in from New Zealand today. Their focus is supporting specialists on practices, including proactively calling to check referrals are being seen and managed by their admin teams. And they work alongside HealthLink to ensure referrals are delivered into the correct software. So I'm going to pass this on to Nicole and Carmel. And we will take your questions as we go along and answer them at the end. So on to you, Nicole.
Hi, I'm Nicole.
Hi, I'm Carmel.
I'm just going to do this. Here we go, share. So today we're going to show you specialists and referrals in best practice software. And I am going to start here, which is your patient record. So I'm in best practice, I've got a patient open, and if I want to find the HealthLink SmartForms, I go up to view, I click HealthLink Forms, and then all the HealthLinks, and then a new form over there. And I'll just make that a bit bigger so you can see it. Now what we have here is we've got the HealthLink SmartForms. So these are the other forms that you can make referrals to, public referrals or to the hospitals. We've got the Hearing Australia, which is quite a popular form, as is the Transport for New South Wales. But where we are is we are over here. We are specialists and referrals, and we are for private specialist referrals. So if you click on the orange, you'll come up to the Specialists and Referrals search page, which will load in a sec. And this is the Medical Specialist Directory. And this is a book that's been in publication for over 20 years, and it's all the specialists in private practice. This book gets sent out to GPs and to specialist practices so that GPs can make referrals appropriately. And what we've done here is we've teamed up with HealthLink to put the book into the GP software. Now, this directory that you can see here is live and ready to go in best practice, medical director, medtech, and Genie software. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to show you how easy it is to search. So just select a category, and I'm going to do cardiology because that's a big one. And then you hit search, and all the cardiology practices, groups, and single specialists will come up. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, we're doing dermatology then. And you can see that the groups have come up first, and they're specialists as well. Some are e-refer, which means they are live for electronic referrals. So they've already signed up with HealthLink, and they can receive electronic referrals through HealthLink. And some are manual refer, so they are still accepting referrals by fax or email. Even though they are here, there could be many reasons why they're not accepting electronic referrals. The main one is that their software doesn't support it. But let me just show you. So here we go, we've got some people. We can look at a group here. I'm going to click on the group, and you can see a bit more information about the group and the specialists who are working there. And what you can do in this case is you can make a referral electronically to the group, or you can choose a specialist and see if they are the right person that you want to make a referral to. And there's 2 addresses for the specialist. And if you look here, he's at Bondi Junction, which is one of the groups here. And then the other group, Northbridge, is the other group there. And both of those groups are live for electronic referrals. So in this case, you just choose the location that is better for the patient, and you can send the referral there. Now this is live, so I'm not going to send a referral to Dr. Donahue. I am going to send a referral to our test specialist. And our test specialist's name is Mickey Mouse. And he is a psychiatrist. So what I'm going to do here, you can see I could just choose a location over here for referrals, or I could click into the record and check that I'm actually choosing the correct place and make a referral that way. So in this case, I am going to send the referral to that location because that's the one I want. And I can show you a few things about the referral form. Now, this is a HealthLink form. So we are the directory service. And then once you hit the form, it becomes HealthLink. And it's a smart form. So the great thing about the smart forms is it pulls all the information from your patient record. And the more information you have in your patient record, the better. The more information will also come through onto the form. Now, my patients are a little bit light because they're testing, but I can show you a few basics. So if you look here, we've got the specialist details, and that pulls through. We've got a few things here that you would need to fill in. So it gives you what, the form thinks would be best, but you can choose 3 months or indefinite, but we'll stick 12 months because that's the basic GP referral. Now, if the next one over here is urgent, if you tick that, you will have to fill in a reason for the urgent referral. And I will show you a bit later how that comes through on the referral form. Now there's an asterisk there and one over here in red, and that means the form will not be sent unless you fill in a reason. Now this is a generic form and it's best for the GPs to fill in as much as possible. So the same form is used whether you're a sleep doctor or a psychiatrist or an orthopedic surgeon. So putting here broken leg that isn't healing or feeling suicidal, needs to go on medication is really, really helpful for the specialist who is receiving the referral. So I just filled in something there because it's not going to work unless I send it. Now here is some additional information. And again, these basics over here pull through from the patient record. Now the fun thing is the attachments and reports. Now what I can do is I do have a blood test right at the bottom. I'm going to choose one. If I wasn't sure, if these weren't labeled correctly, or maybe they were all a bit iffy, maybe all 3 of them said blood tests, I can quickly check that and it will give me a preview of what is in that test. But I've already attached that one, so I don't need to do anything there. What I'm going to show you now is I can also browse my local file. So that is my computer. And I'm just going to check my desktop and see what comes up. And I happen to have an X-ray there purely for making test referrals. So I'm going to open that and upload the X-ray to my patient record, or to my referral letter. So the next section is medications and allergies, alerts, and warnings. So what happens here, if there are any allergies, they will automatically be pulled through. You don't need to tick. So they're all automatically ticked. If there are medications, they'll all be ticked. But if you think something is not relevant or infringing on the patient's privacy, you can untick those, but they all get ticked automatically for safety reasons. Medical, social, and family history, everything would pull through from the patient record, and you would just click in the square over there for something you thought was relevant to the referral. Patient information, now this all pulls through again from the patient record. Because I do referrals all over the place, I am just going to fill in my address for the patient, but that would normally come through from the patient record. And the referrer information is my details. So one thing I can say is the practice name. I see a lot of main surgeries. It would be great if you fill that in your software so that when we call the GPs about, or call the specialists about referrals, we can say that Dr. blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah has sent a referral and we've phoned to check that it has been received. So that's just one little thing there. And then I'm going to show you a preview. you want to talk? I've been talking a lot.
Quick pause in there. So just on the follow-up that Nicole just mentioned,
Yes.
what's happening there, because this is a relatively new service in terms of the connection between SR and HealthLink referrals, as an extra layer of support to make sure as a referral goes through for the first time to a specialist through the service, we are proactively contacting those specialists and checking with their staff that they know where to find this referral in their software and providing support around that. We find that that's a very important step. It just keeps them fully up to date with what's happening. We can give them extra support around creating new patient records and linking to an existing patient record. And yeah, it just sort of fills in any gaps really at the specialist end. If you find that you've done an electronic referral and then you get a request to fax it, by all means, flick us an email through the SR support email that you'll see at the bottom of the screen when you're in our service. And we're more than happy to proactively contact any of those specialists as well if that does happen, just to make sure that they are, really, it's a change in process at the specialist end really, to switch from predominantly having faxes to predominantly getting electronic. And so we know that can take some hand holding. The reason we're calling from New Zealand is actually we've introduced this service in New Zealand and we went through a similar process here very successfully, and it's an important part of anything new that takes process change, that people are supported in that. So that's why we take a proactive stance on that. I'll let Nicole carry on.
Okay, so I've got my preview here. You don't need to send a preview to make the referral, but I thought I'd just show you the previous step. So the referral comes as a easy to read PDF with all the information that pulled through from the patient record that you saw earlier. We did tick it as urgent, so urgent stays right at the top with my reason over there. And there is a referral ID number over here. Now that referral number is something that I use quite often actually when calling the specialist practices to see if they've received a referral. That is a unique referral ID number, so it won't be duplicated, and that's quite an important bit for me, but I don't think it matters too much to the GPs unless a specialist phones to get the referral resent. They would need to use that referral number probably, or the patient name to find that referral again and either resend it, or they can't resend it electronically, but print it out and send it by fax. So you can see everything pulled through from the patient record. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. If you see here, I've got a diagnostic report. I've got my master iron studies, and it is shown that that's attached, but it doesn't show the actual blood test as well as my x-ray. So it is listing them in the referral, and this is what the GP is going to see. The GP is going to see that those are attached, but he's not going to see the actual forms or documents attached to the referral. But when I submit it over here, I can show you in a minute what it looks like. I do have a portal account, which is something that HealthLink has brought up for specialists who don't have compatible software. And the portal account can help specialists still get referrals, but they can't actually import everything into the specialist software. They can print it out and get the referral that way. So if you see the top here, we submitted that. The referral has been sent and acknowledged, and it's got a timestamp. That means that HealthLink now has the referral, and HealthLink is going to deliver it to the specialist. So it's been acknowledged more by HealthLink software. Doesn't mean that the specialist has it yet, and it doesn't mean that the specialist has seen it. So it has been acknowledged, HealthLink has got it, they've got no problems with it, and they are going to deliver it to the specialist. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to show you how that referral comes through on the specialist side. And I'm going to close that because that wasn't supposed to happen. So here we go. Here is my portal HealthLink account. And this is the referral that I just sent a minute ago. You can see the date over there. And I'm going to open this referral. And when you see the referral, you can see it's the same PDF document. Nicely laid out, easy to read. But the only difference is from what the GP saw is that the attachments are now in the body of the referral. So they don't actually get delivered as separate attachments. They get joined into the referral, so nothing gets lost. Everything is in one bundle of information for the specialist. So you can see quite easy, quite clear. If you were a specialist with compatible software for HealthLink, you would be able to create a patient record from this referral letter. Somebody with a portal account who doesn't would have to print this out and then use this referral letter. But both ways, the referral gets sent and seen by the specialist. So I'm going to close out of that and go back to my HealthLink forms. Oops. There we go. So what I'm going to show you again is how you find SR. So we go to View, HealthLink Forms, and you come to the blank document over there, so you can open a new form. And then I'm going to make that bigger. So again, you come to the HealthLink landing page with all the HealthLink SmartForms, and you click on Private Specialist Referrals. And this way you get to search. Now, one thing I can say is HealthLink uses an EDI, which is an electronic delivery address, which is software specific to deliver all the electronic messages. What we have done is we have done that all in the background. So we have the EDI attached to the specialist at the correct address. So the GP doesn't need to manage an address book. So you no longer need to update your address book every time a specialist moves or changes computer software, changes fax numbers, because that changes quite often as well. We have a team of people here who phone the specialist daily to check that the information we have is still correct, and we have the EDIs attached in the background so nobody needs to know them, which does make it a lot easier and a lot it's going to happen. You know, if you see it as electronic referral, they're going to be able to get the referrals electronically. I'm just going to do another search for you, and I am going to this time actually do cardiology, and we're going to search the specialists. Now, if you wanted to refine this, you can refine by suburb. I find that you get a lot more, obviously, if you just search by the group, and then you can go further on and decide what actual subcategory is needed, rather than searching by a small, searching by DY and then finding there's no angiography within DY. So for here, we can go to cardiothoracic surgery, and you can still see there are people who are doing it. And there's a mixture of electronic referral and manual refer all over the place. Every some groups or some specializations have more electronic referral than others. Cardiology is quite good. They've got a lot of electronic referrals. If you are looking for a category that you don't see, like over here, there's no sports medicine. And this is something I was getting asked quite a bit. So you don't see sports, you can click out of the category and you can type and search a keyword. And you can see when you type in sport, you now get sports injuries or sports medicine. I'm going to type in sports medicine, and you can see a whole bunch come up again. And then you can refine, not recent searches, you can refine over here and find exactly what you need. Now, again, this is totally live, but a manual referral is a referral that needs to be printed out and sent by fax or email. So I'm just going to show you. Here. I'm just going to find somebody who is, okay, there we go. Sorry about that. No, that's a special. Let's find a group that's got. Now, ophthalmology, there are a lot of people who are still manual refer at different locations. So if you look at Dr. Tsang over here, he's quite interesting because he's got some locations are electronic referrals and some locations are manual refer. And we find that generally a GP who is using our service is going to look at his locations and choose an electronic referral. But there are still a lot of manual referrals going out within some people. So I'm going to send a referral here manually because this is live. Doesn't matter if I send a referral unless he receives the fax, he's not going to get it. So I'll just show you the difference between an electronic referral and a manual referral. You want to say anything?
I think it's important that it's comprehensive. So the reason why we cover the manual referral set is that so that you can always find a specialist. Our directory is for all private specialists, and we're constantly adding new specialists. If you do find someone that you think should be there and is missing, by all means let us know and we'll add them. We're adding new ones every day, so more than happy to hear of any new specialists, and we're also updating their status from manual to electronic on a daily basis as well. So you'll see more coming live for electronic. By all means, if you have a favourite specialist who's not yet electronic, you might want to encourage them to. It's mainly an education and a contacting exercise of just reaching out and letting specialists know that the service exists and making sure that they are on HealthLink. There's no cost for the specialist to receive referrals through the service or to subscribe with HealthLink for the service. So there's no reason basically not for them to be set up, and we're encouraging specialists every day. We have a part of our team is actively, their core work is actually contacting specialists and making sure that they're getting set up for this. So that's a really important part of it as well. And yes, by all means, if you have some particular ones that you would like made electronic, feel free to contact us or the specialist direct. You'll see more adding all the time. Let you carry on, Nicole.
Okay, so here I am. I have got the referral form for a manual referral, and it's exactly the same form. The main difference is we can't attach attachments. So when the GP wants to make this referral, he will have to print the referral form out and also print out any relevant blood tests or attachments. So I'm just going to run through the form again. And there's a little message over here reminding the GPs that they cannot attach any attachments. So reason for patient referral, I'm just going to fill that in. Attachments reports, again, you get the message, and I can't click anything even if I wanted to, and I can't see any previews. So that's all the same. Oh, that's the only thing that's different. Medications, all the same. Everything is the same. And I will just show you what. So I want to send, but I don't have the option to send. So in this case, I would have to press print, and then I can print the referral out and then fax it. So instead of it going, it says attempting to submit your referral, but it is actually making it into a PDF for you, or so that you can open it and print it out. And again, you should see that the referral is the same. It's the same PDF document, and another warning at the top there to be printed and sent by fax or email. So, same easy to read PDF laid out in the same way. If a GP is wanting to make a referral and they see that the specialist is not live for electronic referrals, they don't have to then close down and go to another program to send a referral manually or by fax. One referral form, whether it depends on how it gets sent. And some of our GPs are very good. They send them electronically and they send them by fax or give them to the patient just in case. And those GPs, I have no problem with that, because that's been a great way for when the specialist gets the referral handed to them and they've never had an electronic referral before, they're then forced to look in their software because the patient will go, but GP sent it to you electronically. And some specialists have been turned on to electronic referrals purely by receiving referrals from GPs both ways and then digging into it and finding out more about the referrals. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there. So what I also want to show you is GPs need to monitor the referrals that have been sent. Sometimes referrals do get rejected. So even though it might be acknowledged as acknowledged when you send the referral that HealthLink has it, when HealthLink delivers it to the specialist, there sometimes, very rarely, is a problem there, but that is something that the GPs do need to monitor, and they would be monitoring the referrals anyway that were being sent manually or by fax, just to make sure that they go through, because I know there are a lot of fax problems in Australia. So if you want to check the referrals that you've sent, you go to view again. So instead of going to view to HealthLink forms, you go, oops, utilities. No, I do apologize. I'm going to close out the patient record. So now I'm not in a patient record, I go to view and I go to e-referrals. And I can see these are the referrals that have been sent today and yesterday that are still waiting for acknowledgement. So these are the ones the GP would need to monitor to make sure that, I'm just going to make that a little bit, I'm going to make that a bit bigger actually. So this is showing the referrals that have been sent in just over a month that are still waiting for acknowledgement. And so these are the ones the GP would want to monitor, but they're not all of the referrals he sent in the past month. If I untick that button over there, that's all the referrals that were sent in the past month. But you don't need to monitor the ones that have been acknowledged as, you know, all working fine. So these ones over here, you can see one was sent, acknowledgement error, and that was one that I did send a while ago, so I know about that. These ones are waiting for acknowledgement. And this one over here, there was also a problem with that. So these would be the ones the GP would follow up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into the patient record just to show you how to find SR again one last time.
You can also see on the patient record the referral having been sent there as well. So that's, you know, that's a good reference point when you go back in and see the history on a patient. And you can open that referral from on the patient record, so you can go back to the referral that you sent and just refresh your memory of those details. The other key point is that the acknowledge, even in that log list that Nicole just showed you, that acknowledged text where it indicates that it's been acknowledged is a software acknowledgement. So that's HealthLink saying that the referral has been successfully received into the specialist software. It is not the specialist saying that they personally have looked at the referral and acknowledging it back as a real person. There's a difference between a software acknowledgement and a real person acknowledgement. So it's just important to have that in mind. We are talking about HealthLink around any other future improvements they can make in that regard. So I'll keep you posted on that. But that is a distinction which is relevant. So it's usually a good practice to have a reminder on a referral to check back with the patient, you know, as a follow-up in 4 weeks' time or something as to what's happened in regards to their referral. So that's something you might want to consider as part of your practice processes. Yeah, so that's an area which I'm sure can be discussed further, but it's important just to understand that distinction. I'll let Nicole carry on.
Now I'm back in the patient record with my patient Ronald Duck, and you can see the referral we've just sent to Hui Tsang. It is quite small, I do apologize, but right at the bottom there you can see it was a manual referral, and instead of it having the EDI, it was print fax. And the one before to Mickey Mouse was the Cervin portal, which you saw. So you can see how all referrals are in your correspondence in the patient record. But if you want to check the referrals sent by that GP, as a GP, you need to go out the patient record and then you can view your referrals. Now, is there anything we've missed?
That's the practicalities.
Yes.
We're open to questions on this list.
Nicole, I've got a couple of questions coming through.
Yes.
And there's a questions from Dr. Cindy Lou. And it says, when I click on HealthLink, the blank page icon, nothing comes up. Does it need an updated version of best practice? And if so, what version? Only download or set up the system?
I mean, I always recommend getting the updated version of the software just because it's always better. But if that blank icon, if nothing's working, it's a HealthLink query. They need to get the form set up for you. And usually that's a 10-minute fix that somebody needs to remote in to your computer, but they need permission to remote in and change the settings so that the forms are visible. Does that help? Yeah.
They should mostly be turned on. So, yeah.
And I've got another question from Dr. Charles Mock, and it is, how do they know when we send referral to them? I'm assuming specialists. How do they know?
Well, that's where I come in. Depending on what software they have. So if they are in one of the cloud-based software like Clinic to Cloud, Gentoo, they get an automatic notification to let them know. If they are on Genie, which the majority of the specialists are on Genie, the referrals come into incoming letters with all the pathology reports. So they have to check pathology reports, or they check incoming letters for pathology reports and lab tests. They will see the referral coming in. And even though it comes into the same place, it will have referral letter in the title. But we do still call people the first time they get a referral. And if they tell us that they're used to getting them maybe through a different provider like Argos or something else, that's great. We mark them off as all okay. If we have to show them where the referral is found, we either set up an email notification to email them each time they get a referral through our service, or we actually call them back the next time and the next time and the next time until they tell us to stop calling them. Yeah, so we're doing a lot of training with the specialists. We had a few queries right in the beginning when we first started. The early adopter GPs were quite vocal when specialists were not getting the referral. So we realized very quickly we had to phone every time somebody new gets a referral for our service, just because we don't know that they're picking them up.
Okay, thank you. Then there's another question which actually came a bit earlier, and that is specialist I use is not in the directory. How can I have him added?
Easy. So if you go to Specialist and Referrals, there is our email right at the bottom. Sorry, I'm just going to show you HealthLink forms. Or you can tell me now. And I can write it down and I can Google them and phone. So when you go to the Specialist and Referrals, you will see that there are a few places where you can see the, sorry, I'm stumbling, where you can see how to contact us. There is a Cervin SR help desk email right at the bottom over here, support. You click on that and you can tell us the specialist details, or on the actual form itself. So if you if you send a form, at the bottom of the form it has the same email address. It also has our phone number and our fax. So this is our phone number. This is a local Australian phone number. Phone that and let us know, and somebody will contact the specialist, check his details are correct, and see about setting him up on SR.
Thank you, Nicole. And the last question I can see is, how secure is this solution? I am concerned about privacy and confidentiality.
It's as secure as you can get. So it's totally secure. Even us working in specialists and referrals and seeing the transactions, the referrals that get sent from a specialist, from a GP to a specialist, we still can't see much. We can literally, we get given a list from HealthLink of the referrals that have been sent for us to follow up. But all we can see is the GP name and the specialist name, and then we do everything else on our side, and the referral ID, which is why that I use that quite a bit. But there is no way that package of information, once it has been sent by the GP, the only person who can open it is someone who has access to the specialist software, who has the, is using that goes to that specialist. That is the only person who can open it, either the specialist or the practice manager. That EDI is, once it gets sent with that EDI, the person on the other side of that receiving is the only person who can open it. So it's way more secure than faxes and emails.
So HealthLink's been around for quite a number of years as well, and they're fully credentialed with, their business, their core business is secure messages. That's what they exist for. And SR is really just giving you the front end directory to identify who you want to send the referral to, and it's flowing through to the specialist that way through HealthLink.
Thank you. I think that's the end of the question, unless about 5 minutes. Are there any additional questions anyone would like to ask? I believe that's it.
That's good.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.